I could get a green curtain and then I could do like a green screen and be anywhere. Yeah. Reporting live from. Except for the
Uh,
lighting would always be this weird, like, under cabinet
yeah, it would look very
lighting.
obvious. It's like when you can
Yeah.
see the outline on shitty TV and movies.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
So yeah, you can tell that they're not there. So what are we
Um,
doing here?
so, first of all, welcome everyone. This is a little bit of a different format, I think, than any of our previous episodes. Um, we wanted to jump on here, and in the spirit of it being Thanksgiving, it was suggested to us that we make a little bit of a list, if you will, of things we are thankful for, or make mention of things that we're grateful and thankful for. So we're going to do just that. But first, I just want to say stay tuned to the rest of this episode afterwards because we have a really wonderful guest. Her name is Ashley, and we've had her husband on in the past, Tony. And yeah, we hope to have her on again, of course, because she has lived so many lives, and I'm very curious about all of them, and she gives us a little glimpse into some of it in the episode. So yeah, listen to that right after this. Um, do you mind if I go first, Colin? Because I have a feeling that you're still contemplating some thoughts and ideas
Yeah, it's like a blank screen right now. So yeah, we'll just circle back.
upstairs. Yeah, sure. Okay. So, I was gonna say earlier, what I'm thankful for, first and foremost, is perhaps like the most plain and obvious. Like, I'm super grateful that I have the husband I have. Like, Jordan is like top tier. For those of
Yeah,
you just
he's god
listening,
tier for sure.
Colin's rolling his eyes and
Yeah.
making throw up emoji faces.
Bleh.
Uh, but it goes without saying, right? Um, even though I said it. And then I'm very like grateful for my lovely children. They have been delightful lately, which I'm like, this is sus, kids. What's going on? Maybe they know their birthdays and Christmas are coming up, so they're like, do
Oh
do
no, we've
do.
had Helene and Milton in this house for the last couple weeks.
Oh boy, yeah,
Yeah.
super fun.
Anyway.
Just going through it. And then I don't want to say like the more subtle things, but like the things that, because throughout the last couple of days, I've been trying to like nitpick what parts of my day I'm grateful for.
Oh yeah.
And I've been like, it's been sort of simmering in the back of my mind, if you will. Um, and for simple things, like simple everyday things, I feel like I'm really excited about my coffee every day. Like lately I've just been like enjoying my cup of coffee, and it's not the cup of coffee. I don't say obviously, but like it's the moment of almost like a meditative state where I like allow myself to sit and chill in that moment.
Yeah.
And I feel
It's like your
that's
quiet time.
yeah, that's part of my day that I'm like quite grateful for. Um and gosh, I maybe on a bigger scale, I also had the thought that like I'm really grateful that I had a very good healthcare team when I delivered the Suro babe. Because without them, who knows what would have happened. And I am very cognizant and aware that things got a little hairy for a bit, you know. yeah, so that's like big picture stuff. And then like lately, I've been really enjoying my fake beer.
The
Was I
northern lights are outside our house right now. Sorry.
Stop. Take a
Yeah,
picture.
Cassie
Um,
did.
oh, good. Holy
It's
shamoly.
just hit a lot of
Okay, this
purple.
has to go
So
on the Insta.
mm,
Insta. Um, oh gosh, I lost the train. Okay.
larger picture. Oh, it was oh fuck.
Oh, my fake beer. Was I telling
Yes,
you
your fake
this?
beer.
The fella at the
Your
LCBO,
Guinness.
pardon me for assuming his gender, but I think it was a dude. And he was telling me that the Guinness factory, so their zero alcohol beer is so popular that it's sold out. Like it just came out, I think this summer, maybe late in the summer. Um, Sold out, was so popular they had to like retool shit back at the Guinness headquarters so that they could make more of it because they were really not anticipating this to be such a hot seller.
Yeah.
And I don't know if this is out there knowledge or if it was like just insider LCBO guy knowledge, but I didn't fact check. I just took his word for it. And yeah, and I was like, I completely understand why, because it's a very enjoyable glass. And I don't have a headache the next day, which is real
Yeah.
nice. Yeah, so
It's
I'm
all
very
about them
grateful for that.
silver linings these days.
Yeah. So I mean, those are probably not. Those are kind of like perhaps superficial things, but
I disagree
oh, okay.
because I think it's
Oh, that's okay.
important. I mean, we want everything to be deep and meaningful, so we feel like we have a stronger connection, or we feel like the gratitude is more important.
It's
But
more
I
valid, maybe.
I think it's hard for people to genuinely sit down and just appreciate what they're doing in a moment. So for you to talk about your
Mm.
coffee like that, or your beer, like
Hmm.
it's very difficult these days for people to separate themselves from everything that's going on in their life and just recognize for a small moment of their day everything's
Right,
just perfect.
right.
And I think if we got a little closer to that kind of mentality,
Hmm.
we probably all feel just a little bit better. I think day to day,
Hmm. Yeah.
we
Well,
wouldn't
after
let the storm of life take over.
right after our conversation with Ashley, we've had like a group chat going, and we were talking about like based on a video that we mutually all watched. We were kind of talking about how life is suffering and
Mm,
perhaps we're just trying to discover the tools with which to cope through this inevitable suffering. You know what I mean? And seeking joy and happiness is I think what most people aim to do, right?
mm-hmm.
Um, but yeah, in that conversation, I feel like I don't want to say my takeaway, but uh, gratitude was kind of an undercurrent, maybe, of that whole conversation. Is like we could all agree that like because the overarching theme was whether or not psychology works, and you could say no, it doesn't work for everyone, or you could say like yes, it works for some. Anyways, I feel like the whole conversation also alluded to like, are you able to be grateful for the things in your life? And I feel like psychology is like parallel to that thought process, or maybe that like theme of thoughts.
Yeah, it's like something that can help you do that better.
Right.
Maybe.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's one of the tools perhaps that
Oh,
helps
I'm
you
so mad
navigate.
right now. Everyone keeps
Yeah.
sending these pictures of these incredible
Northern
Northern
Lights?
Lights, and
Okay, we
I'm
gotta
stuck
wrap
in this
this up,
stupid
Colin.
basement. Yeah, I know.
Colin is
Fuck.
ungrateful
I am ungrateful for this fucking podcast.
for this podcast at this moment. So run outside, look at the Northern Lights, run back in.
No. It's fine. I can wait. And
It's
honestly,
fine. Will they
yeah,
last another 2 minutes?
I think so.
Okay.
I think
There's
so.
time. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
Sorry.
Quick. Dive in.
I'm not
Your
grateful
turn.
for anything.
Oh, okay.
No.
Cool.
I mean, I'm gonna do basically two things. On the one hand, I'm super grateful. Just everything is fine.
Yeah.
And I'm really grateful for that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Everything costs a lot of money. I feel like everyone is feeling it in the old purse strings. But we're not going hungry. We don't have to give up a lot of stuff in order to continue to enjoy our lifestyle. We're not in the middle of hurricanes and all this kind of stuff. So I'm just super grateful that everything is just fine.
Our house is not being blown over.
Yeah, like
torn apart.
The hardest part of my day is dealing with my children when they decide they want to channel their inner Isis. Like that's about it. You know what I mean? So I'm really, really grateful for that.
And you get to be a human punching bag.
Yeah, it's the best.
Good times, yeah.
It's a really great opportunity for me to. I actually said this to William today. He was just in a foul mood when he came home from school, and it went for hours. And he was doing a lot of things. He was behaving in a lot of ways that would normally really piss me off.
Okay.
Like super duper upset me. And I'm just working really hard on not containing, but like restraining myself in that regard and addressing it differently. And I got to the point today where I was like, you're really fucking lucky I'm trying to be a better person. And I fucking walked away. I was like, I wanted to throw him through the wall so bad. But you know what? Ultimately, I suppose I'm grateful for them too, because it's one of those situations, I suppose, where you could say it all the time. Well, I'm grateful for my kids, blah blah. But are you actually grateful? What are they doing for you?
Yeah.
And for me, it's I feel like having children was what I needed in order to expose some of the cracks in my foundation. And having found those earlier was beneficial. So I'm really grateful for that.
Good. I'm not grading what you just said, but I feel like that was
whose like gratitude is better.
Right.
Who's better at gratitude?
Who's better?
We'll let the audience decide.
Who's the best? We'll put up a poll. Yeah. I feel like because you kind of came in and you were like, I've got nothing.
Yeah.
I was like, yes, you do. Just sometimes just a little reflection and then it comes out.
I was we should probably do a whole episode on just Hurricane Milton and Helene, but
dude, I'm obsessed and I don't know why.
I think it's because this is like record-setting stuff.
It really was. Yeah, Milton was. It was scaring some people a lot. Meteorologists a lot. Yeah.
A direct result of water temperature increasing. That's why Milton formed so fast after Helene. Is because the water in the Gulf of Mexico was
hot, I don't know, to try.
It's not much warmer, but it's like degrees warmer, but it's enough that it
it's a tiny percentage, but over the course of the Earth, a tiny percentage has actually proven to be like life altering in a lot of cases. So, people can say what they want about what's causing it. The fact is that it's happening.
Yeah, exactly.
And whether it's us who did it, I think the point is moo. But we have to live through it, and not so much we here physically, but they were saying there's 800,000 people without electricity. There's 9 confirmed deceased people from this so far. And this is just I think it made landfall at 8 p.m. yesterday.
Yeah.
So,
like they were assessing damage today. It was. Yeah. But I got the impression that it wasn't as severe as they expected it to be.
It was less severe, they said. Yeah.
Which is interesting.
Which is good.
Very good. Mm-hmm. And I'll be interested. One of the things I was telling Cassie, because I got from a lot of the content I saw, there was definitely a lot of hooks into the global warming sort of conversation.
Oh, okay.
So I'm interested to know if this is just another news cycle or if this is going to draw attention to this kind of stuff in a more long-term way.
Right. Because are more people going to pay attention to this, and are bigger changes going to occur? Is that kind of maybe?
And not even changes, just the conversation. Will the conversation continue in a obvious way now that we've seen two huge storms?
Mm-hmm. Back to back.
That I'm very grateful and thankful for. I'm not exposed to. Thankfully, our water usually comes down as snow. Mm-hmm. It's a little bit easier to manage sometimes. But anyway,
yeah,
I'm really, really, really happy that we're doing the podcast and we're able to. You know what I mean? Like, this is not
great.
This is a luxury,
and hopefully everyone is too.
Yeah, and everyone else needs to tell us what they're grateful for.
Yeah.
And hit us up on Instagram or DM us or whatever, but let us know. And if there's things you're not grateful for, I want to hear that too.
Yeah, the I could say ungrateful, but we're gonna say the anti-grateful.
Yeah. What are you anti-grateful for?
Yeah. Love it.
We'll talk about that next episode. Hey, that's all I got.
I love it. All right. Well, I guess now we'll lead right into our lovely episode avec Ashley.
Yeah. We're so dislocated from like publishing the episode that in my mind I forget that this is the next thing they're going to hear is the fucking enjoy our conversation with Ashley. She's a beautiful soul, and I think as we get to know her more, and as the audience maybe gets to know her more, we'll take a lot from her because she's got a lot to offer.
Yeah,
and I'm grateful for that too.
Fabulous.
Happy Thanksgiving, everybody.
Happy Thanksgiving. Toodles. Like toilet paper is our go-to.
I love getting my hair cut, especially when there's a scalp massage involved.
But she would say, your body is a temple and you need to take care of it.
We have a lot of flexibility.
Yeah, where he just ate garbage. How long was that? A year?
Do this. I can't do this without Cassie and the kids enabling me to do this.
I find myself encouraging myself, so I'm like, no, you can do this. Don't give up.
We got lots to say.
I love my husband so much, and my son. I had a baby. Her name is Isla.
I want to see the baby. I've definitely had multiple drinks on multiple episodes.
Loosen up.
It's a podcast. We're here to have fun, so enjoy yourself.
And we're not live.
Oh.
Are we? Are we live? What?
Hello.
On the YouTubes?
Talking to you, we'll cue you in, okay?
Okay.
Just wait.
Colin,
we'll be
so
with
aggressive.
You shortly. Okay.
Spoiler alert, we have a guest this week. A longtime friend. Aww. And somebody who we have by proxy had on the show, if you will. But yeah, she herself has not been on our cast before. We hope to have you again and again. I think this is going to be a riveting conversation here today, just because I'm pretty sure we all have ADHD, so it could go anywhere. But yes, welcome, Ashley.
Thank you. I feel like my heart's pounding outside of my chest.
We nailed the cue, Ashley. Holy fuck, I knew you could do it.
I know, right? I get it together every once in a while.
We had some interesting, not just on your end. I feel like we always have technical issues. For those who are new tuning into this show, it's very common for us to have some sort of technical I don't know, snafu at some point during the show. So thankfully today, I think they all happened before we hit record.
Well,
fingers crossed.
There will be all kinds of tech glitches
Yeah.
anytime I'm in front of a computer, so that's a guarantee.
Too funny. Okay, so there's so many things I want to talk to you about. You have such I feel like you should write an autobiography. Maybe this is just because I'm your friend and I love your life story so much. But my gosh,
Do you
I'd
want
love
to know
for you
what,
to like
though?
briefly walk us through who is. Yes, what?
I started writing a kind of fictionalized. Like I've been trying to gather like some of the stories and events of my life and not really fictionalize them, but kind of dramatize them a little bit more, you know. And yeah, so far it's been kind of neat.
Yeah. Spice them up.
Yeah, a creative endeavor.
Cool.
I've changed some of the names of the people.
Okay, I like. Okay.
But yeah.
To protect their identities, of course.
Mostly to protect mine.
The main character's name is. She's not a really good author, though. I saw her first draft, and the main character's name is Smashley.
Yeah.
There you
go. It's not really hidden. She calls it a fiction. I think it's more autobiographical.
Oh man, too good.
If I'm feeling confident, I'll send you some stuff.
Where'd you even go?
Oh.
Excellent. Okay. I mean, I'd love to read it, so please do. Ashley, for a time, had a blog, which, if I remember correctly, you had through like early motherhood, and I'm curious to know if that helped in like the healing process.
Oh my God, tremendously.
And if writing in general.
Yeah, well, I've just always found writing a very therapeutic outlet and creative outlet as well. And then, I don't know, just when you become a mom for the first time, and kind of like for the first time, but regardless of how many kids you've had, it's the first time over and over again, right? You're experiencing these new things.
Yeah.
And anyways, with Holden, it was all of the new things all at once. And I remember reading when I was still pregnant with him about like baby blues, postpartum depression, baby pinks, and all of these different things that the postpartum brain can go through. And I mean, I don't have any kind of official diagnosis, but I can just like speak to how I felt. And I felt like I was in this like baby pink phase where everything was glittery and magical. And I was infused with like an abundance of energy and creativity. I started blogging. I started an Etsy site. I was sewing and selling and making malas. I became a doula. I attacked all of these things and between when Holden was born and 1 year, and I completed none of them. It's basically how that worked out. But my favorite thing that I did was this blog, and I just found it so creative and therapeutic for me to write about some of the things that I was dealing with emotionally and some of the beautiful things that I was experiencing, and to have other people relate to that or be like, oh, I never experienced it that way, or I totally get it, you know. So I kind of wish that I'd kept doing that, actually.
Not finishing things?
Well, yeah, it'd be nice if I had the ability to finish the things I start, but also keep up with them.
I relate very much to that. So many unfinished projects in my life. But I wonder if that's also, I don't want to say parenthood in general, but I think parenthood amplifies that a ton. Because like, how many parents go from like being able to do stuff for themselves all the time to all of a sudden, you know, you don't have the time for it. Like your priorities shift, right? So
yeah, like I literally just lock myself into rooms and hide from my family. Just to complete, I don't know.
To recharge.
Yeah.
Oh, to complete, yes.
To complete anything. Shit, my eyebrows, truly. I don't know.
So, I do, like, I understand you saying that you feel like you don't complete tasks, but I have seen you complete many a painting job.
No.
And I wanted to like talk about that part of your career because it's something that you've always been able to go back to, I think, and I think you're extremely good at it. And so I would love for our listeners to know a little bit more about that because first of all, it's women in the trades, and second of all, it's your life story, which is lovely, and third of all, yeah, I feel like it's kind of like led you in so many different directions in your life. Yeah. So where did you start learning to be a painter? When did this all?
I guess it
house
was
painter, by the way, for
interior painter.
Yeah,
I guess kind of like as a kid, really. My dad always was doing, little fixes around the house, and I was an only child, and so I just had to help, and it was kind of great because I learned how to do everything from, change a light bulb to like paint to, work power tools and do all of this stuff. And it kind of started like my dad hates painting. And so my task at first was literally to apply the paint to the paintbrush and then hand him the paintbrush. And yeah, it was this painfully slow process. And I just remember thinking there's got to be a better way because this kind of looks fun.
Right. Yeah.
And so, like, I guess it kind of started there, just helping my dad with stuff around the house. And then I always had this interest in interiors and design and making things pretty and decor. And yeah, just evolved kind of into this interior painting business through not being able to complete a design course, but knowing my way around. Knowing my way around some tools. And then I started working at Randall's when I was 17. And so then I just got really familiarized with all of the different paints and how to use the different, I don't know, just all of it. Like literally.
All the supplies and whatnot.
Literally, when I first started painting, I had a bucket of tools and I would take the bus to my paint jobs with this bucket of tools and a 2-step ladder, and I'd go around and that was it. I'm missing a key part here is that I learned drywalling before I started even doing this as a co-op student in high school. And so I did my co-op placement with this company. I don't even think they're around anymore, but they were called Restoral. And I was a laborer. And then one day I learned to drywall with the guy that I was always partnered with. He taught me to drywall, tape and mud. And
nice.
We'd do prime checks after that. And that was always what I liked doing. The drywalling was fun, but I liked the painting. And that's when I walked into Randall's, got a job there, and just kind of all fell together. And the next thing I knew, I was taking the bus to paint people's houses for $10 an hour.
I love that so much.
Yeah.
Whoa. Okay, so it was not that long ago.
I charge a bit more now.
Yeah, I hope so. So did the person, I'm assuming that the person that you co-opted with then also like refined your skills and knowledge in painting as well?
For taping?
For painting. Like,
for
is
painting.
That somewhere where they would have did they help refine your skills at all? Or is that something you just practiced?
It's just kind of something that I don't really want to sound like I don't know, I'm bragging, but I've just kind of been like, I have a steady hand, So I did kind of odds and end jobs, and where there was like sometimes painting, mostly it was other things, but anytime there was painting involved, I just kind of honed my skills and picked up different tricks and techniques. And I remember one of the things that, like, it sounds so silly, but it stuck to me and it makes a big difference, is on the packages of like the labels of roller sleeves, it shows you that picture to do this W when you're rolling. Like, don't do that. That's not how you paint.
Yeah.
But I didn't know that until I
yeah.
started, actually working with other people in the trades and learning these things.
Okay.
Yeah, roll up and down. Just straight up and down.
Yeah. Yeah. Full, top to bottom.
Yeah.
Not just like half the wall. Yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe we'll do some tutorials with Ashley.
Oh, God.
My only question now is, what could they possibly gain from this? Is it like collusion with the paint company? You're just going to waste paint now? They'll all get a bit of a kickback because you'll have to use more paint to...
Like with their false W method? Is that...
Yeah, like I don't understand why they would...
I don't know
do
either.
that if it was poor technique.
I think it would just result, because it results in what they call flashing. So you're seeing like a lot more of the strokes rolling up and down.
It could have a lot to do with things like back in the day when everything was oil and everything would just level out. You didn't really have to worry about it. Maybe. I don't know.
That's true.
Maybe somebody knows.
That's true. Because they wouldn't have had to. Yeah.
I don't understand any of the words you guys just said.
Oh,
yeah.
okay.
Paint leveling, like
flashing,
flattening out so that it's even.
Flashing and strokes. I thought we were talking about Ashley's book.
Actually, that's a good story there.
Like, you can see. Actually, yes, she does have a good story.
No, flashing would be...
you would be able to see like the roll going one way and the roll going the other way.
Like, you know when you vacuum the
reflection
carpet?
of the paint.
And you vacuum one direction and then the other direction, and it doesn't look the same. That's it.
Yeah. That.
Nice. Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
You described that so succinctly.
And leveling.
Yeah. Oh, you need an explanation. Okay, so oils take a very, very long time to dry.
No, I just wanted to say the words. They just felt really good coming out of my mouth.
Okay. I feel like I should be drinking. Are you guys drinking?
I was telling Colin, I was like, it's going to appear like I'm drinking, but I'm in fact having fake wine that I opened to make food for dinner, and it doesn't last like 24 hours. So I'm drinking juice.
Oh my God.
Cup right
I do have really a beer, funny. But I'll also pretend it's wine.
Okay.
Yeah. Please feel free to have a beverage, though. Oh my God. I think it's in our theme / intro song. We're like, loosen up.
Yeah, all right. Well,
I still want to know about the oil paint, though.
Oh, yeah, sorry. Oil paint. And what was the other word called?
Leveling.
No, I know what oil paint is.
Okay.
Just spell that. But it's the leveling's related only to the oil paint. That's why
There are 2 raccoons in my trash right now.
So, okay.
Can you send Tony after that?
Hang on.
He's probably afraid. Hey, raccoon!
I love that you gave him like an Italian.
They always turn tradizionale when they're threatening people.
I really wish that you guys could see this. Rumi and a raccoon are nose to nose through the glass door.
In the window?
Like, well, we have these glass French doors that go into the screened porch. And there are 2 raccoons. One of them and Rumi are Eskimo kissing.
Please take a picture.
Believe Rumi's not barking.
We'll post it on our Instagram.
Oh my God.
Oh,
anyways, leveling. Let's stay on task. You can take your meds.
Yeah, seriously.
God. So leveling is just like, it's like it happens during the drying process, right? So oil paints take such a long time to dry, and I just have extended dryers in them, and I don't know, sciencey stuff. And so you can kind of roll up and down whichever way you want to, and it takes so long to dry that variance in direction that you've rolled, if I'm even making sense, over time just starts to blend. So see what I'm doing? Oh my God. Leveling.
Yeah.
Yeah, blend, level. It's kind of the same thing. Fuck. Yeah. Did that make sense? Nobody's learning how to
So
paint.
it's because it takes longer to dry that it'll just smooth itself out.
Essentially, yeah.
It has the time to do that.
I hope so, yeah. I hope that's right.
Got it.
Nice. Okay, cool. All right. Now we can breeze on to more important things like the rest of your life.
LOL. So the Randall's is where Ashley and I met. I can't believe that it's been over 10 years ago.
Oh my God.
It blows my mind a little bit.
It's been longer than that.
Yeah, it would be somewhere way longer.
15,
I think I started working there in 2011.
Oh, I don't know dates. I just know that I met Tony around the same time as you, and we've been together for 15 years.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah,
so
I think, it has to have been, because I remember I met him, and I was all like giddy and weird, and then you came into the store, and I was like, oh, this cool person. I want her to be my friend so bad. And it just seemed like all of these wonderful people were coming into my life at the same time. So there you go.
Aw, and we're still here. Yeah, and so Ashley has taught me a thing or two about painting over the years as well. And a lot of like other wonderful life advice. I mean, as we all have had coworkers in our lives, I feel like you get to know them at a different pace. Like you spend more time with them. I realized at some point I was like, I see you more than I see Jordan.
Right?
Yeah.
Actually.
Yeah.
So,
well, and it was such a cool environment too. Like we were all close.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Our manager ensured that we were like a tightly knit group for sure. Yeah. She hosted a lot of extracurricular activities for us to participate in. Team
That'll
building.
Be a big chapter in my book.
Ooh, okay. Yeah, because you have history before I worked there that I think is very much worth sharing as well. So yeah. I'm extra excited. So then over the years, I'm not even sure when you did this, but please tell us. You got your yoga teacher license. Is that the right word? Accreditation.
Sure, yeah.
I think it's
so
like
Ashley,
a divine sort of bestowment.
She was knighted into yoga.
I mean, I didn't go to Bali or anything like that. You know, I went downtown Ottawa.
No,
and
but
became a yoga teacher. But it was great.
They're all qualified, though. They're all qualified.
Sorry? There's like a weird glitch going on.
No, you're good.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's weird, but it's fine. We're working through it. It works. You keep going.
Okay, sorry. I missed part of what you were saying, but I'll just talk.
Certification.
Yeah, I did that. So
yes. Okay.
I think it must have been before Tony and I were, it was before we were married. So 16 years ago, got my 200-hour Hatha certification. It was awesome. I mean, I recommend a yoga teacher training to so many people purely based on the personal development aspect of it. Like, you know, yoga aside, that's part of it. But you do so much like introspective work, and you really learn a lot about yourself emotionally and mentally, and as well as spiritually, of course, that I just found it the best form of therapy. I've signed up for another one, actually. This time 500 hours.
Yay.
Yeah, I did it. I think we were kind of talking about this, and so I'm doing it. Just again, like after the kids, like it just takes such a toll on you mentally. Awesome. And I just want to get back into a routine, which I think is really important for people with a neurospicy brain. But also it incorporates the physical aspect and all of the good, therapeutic stuffs. Like I don't even plan on teaching. I just want to do this purely as personal development. Which I think you can always do more of, I suppose.
Yeah, I mean, we've talked about this on some past episodes. Like, we're all here to learn and improve. And if you're not doing that, then, like, what the heck are we doing, you know?
Yeah. Like, how big is your ego that you think you're good enough?
I was born the best, yeah.
Well, I mean, at a certain point, you got to think you're good enough. You know what I mean?
Right. Yeah.
After a while, it's not an ego; it's just self-worth.
Yeah.
What was your biggest thing from your first yoga teaching class? You mentioned, a lot of looking inward, and it helped you a lot. I'm assuming gain some clarity. Is there anything there that you're able to share with us in terms of how it helped you personally?
So there's this thing in yoga, the yamas and niyamas. And one of these things is called ahimsa. And ahimsa is a Sanskrit word for nonviolence. And it can be nonviolence towards others, nonviolence towards yourself. I've never been violent towards other people, but I'm definitely not very nice to myself. And so I really focused on this idea of ahimsa and practicing nonviolence. And it just it forces you to really look inward in the way that you speak to yourself. That little voice in your head, that critique, and to pause and try and be a little bit kinder to yourself. And if you're able to pause and be kinder to yourself, then you can always pause and be kinder to other people. And so it's kind of this idea that if you start with yourself, that's going to spill over to the people around you. Yeah, like I deal with some fun depression. And we'll just get into it. As a teenager growing up, I dealt with some eating stuff. Wasn't very nice to myself when I was doing any of that. And so it really hit home, this idea of ahimsa and being kind to yourself. And that love for yourself is ultimately where you need to start. This is a struggle for me even now. Like I, don't see, like it's difficult for me to see myself the way other people do. And so the practice of ahimsa, I think, for me was the biggest takeaway, even though there are so many other great aspects of it. For me, that was the one that really stood out. Yeah.
That you've continued to carry with you in practice.
Yeah. There's on a daily, there's some.
Too, a lot of it's. Go ahead, Ashley. It's fine.
Oh no, I've already forgotten what I was saying.
I'm going to blame the Nova Scotia internet on this, but
I'm sorry.
I feel like it's one of those situations where.
Yeah, we're in the middle of fucking nowhere out here. Like, we might as well just be floating in the Northumberland Strait. Our neighbors don't have internet. We somehow do. So this is kind of as good as it
gets.
No way.
Yeah. It's true.
You guys got to get Starlink out there.
Oh, there you go.
I think we've got ExploreNet.
I was going to say, that sounds top notch.
Yeah.
I feel like in those situations, there are sometimes those aspects of it that are very easy to remember and zone in on, like this ahimsa thing you're talking about.
Mm-hmm.
But I find generally it's harder to pinpoint the benefit and discuss it, but you can just feel it on the inside. You can tell that it's helping and it's changing you, and it's changing how you see things and how you interpret things and perceive the world around you.
Yeah. Just being in tune with yourself and having introspection And yeah, just trusting in yourself that you know the answers, you know, like whatever the problem you might be facing or whatever it is that's going on, trust your gut feeling, you know, there's power in your body, whether you're able to verbalize it or not, you know, you can listen to it. I don't know if that makes sense or if I just sound like more of a hippie than I look, but
no, I think it's a really, really important point, because in my mind, what I hear when you say this is something that I struggle with, because I think most of us, what we do is when we try to find the answers inside, all we can hear is the little voice inside your head, and it's never just one. It's wearing the faces of all your friends and family and everyone who would have an opinion or who's ever judged you or criticized you, or you know what I mean? Like, you're never just listening to yourself.
Yeah.
And so one thing I'm trying to do a lot more these days is just honestly just try to not think as much and try to just feel more about the thing that I'm trying to do, or the problem I'm trying to solve, or you know, whatever it is. Pardon me. It's really difficult, but I think I'm noticing the more often that you're able to stop and take a step back and recognize and observe those voices and not really listen to them, and then you can, now that you've recognized them for what they are, you can kind of step down a little bit deeper and, okay, now how do I really feel about this? And then, okay, do I actually feel this way, or is it another voice that's trying to be sneaky, which I always feel is the case. Yeah, I'm interested to know how you can tell or how you feel that you're actually in touch with that part of you, and you're sort of past all of the nonsense.
All of the, I don't want to say all of the voices, but like all of your own inner narrator. I think you said that.
Oh my God. Yeah.
Earlier,
I have
actually,
like 18 inner narrators.
Group text, you're saying the narrator. Yeah.
Yeah. There's
so
a
many.
whole party going on in my head at any given moment. So sometimes it's really hard to just zone out and really get in tune with things. I've been really out of practice, but meditation and just sitting with myself in silence, or, you know, in nature is my favorite place to really connect. I find that helps so much quiet some of the noise, right? Like, so not only is there a narrator, but there's a song on repeat, you know, there's like there's all these like tabs that are constantly open and ideas popping up, or like a sentence that I wrote earlier in the day will be repeating and I'll be, I don't know. So if I can just get silent in a cozy space, or preferably in nature, I can oftentimes come up with a solution to whatever problem it is that I'm having. And it can be anything. It can be like a personal, you know, emotional thing that I'm going through, or something as simple as, I don't know where to put this dresser, you know, like nothing's working. I need to go into nature and think about this decor. But also just knowing that you're, you know, if you're having a hard time coming up with a solution to something, that this is a good time to get quiet and get still, because you have the answers in you. You just have to find them, really, through all the fucking noise.
Through the, I was gonna say, like, kind of work your way through the weeds, so to speak, and get to what it is that you're after.
And I find like through practicing stuff like that too, you just practice being kinder to yourself. Like if you can recognize that, oh my God, there's so much freaking chaos, whether it's internal or external, I just need to get quiet. That's being gentle and kind to yourself. And then that'll spill over into the people around you. I spill a lot of anger these days, so I've got to work on this.
Anger is part of life. I feel like I don't want to say I realized, but you know, I think we're all in therapy. I've been talking to my therapist about my anger, so I can I can relate to what you're saying. But I was saying, like, I'm learning how to be angry for the first time, which sounds insane. But yeah, I feel like what she says to me is like, anger is normal. Anger is going to happen, and it's like you just have to accept that it's going to happen, because then getting angry about being angry is not helpful. And then also, like, just like learning what to do with that anger, and like where to place it, how to communicate it, maybe so that it doesn't come out in harsh ways, and I think ultimately she said it's very important to express that anger, or else it'll come out in uglier ways elsewhere.
Yeah.
Facts.
So
yeah,
like most things, right? Like any big emotions, if you're not letting them out, they come out anyway.
Yeah, it'll,
So,
I don't know, manifest into, I don't know, colon cancer or something.
Oh God, no.
That could be what happens.
But that could be a thing.
It's a possibility.
Tis. Yeah.
That's another chapter of my book.
Ashley not only has this wisdom. Yes, you not only have this wisdom from like becoming a yoga teacher and doing your training and having this insight. I feel like you continued kind of into that same, we'll say, wavelength of knowledge and practice through then becoming a doula. And I don't want to misquote or anything, but I feel like you were really inspired by having your own child and wanted to like go out and help other people have a fulfilled experience as well.
Oh,
like, would you say that's true?
100%. Like I said earlier, I felt like I had baby pinks and I was just filled with sparkling magic. It's fucking weird. Never felt so good in my life.
Shooting rainbows out of your booty butt.
It was short-lived.
You're using all the wrong fucking words to describe this.
Oh my God. I was like, even during my pregnancy, I was so giggly.
It was a battlefield.
Yeah. Oh no, stuff was like hard. Like everything was hard. Everything hurt and everything was hard to do. But I somehow felt like I had all of these superpowers. But like even when I was pregnant with Holden, I remember being in yoga class and all of these other pregnant mothers are crying and they're emotional and they're hating everything. It hurts. And I'm just giggling. Like I was having the best time. I felt so good. Like I couldn't relate to their misery. And I kind of felt bad. But
you're like, I can't talk about this.
But there was just, I mean, one of the main reasons anyways that I wanted to write about these things and then also become a doula was there was so much I didn't know going into it. And so much I didn't know about this huge thing that women do. And there's just not a lot of education. You don't learn about it in school. Like I was pregnant with Holden in a birthing class when I learned that I had to birth the placenta. Like I was 20. I was 30. Okay, subtract. And like, why?
30,
why don't I know this?
I was so confused.
Like at that age, I should know so much more about birthing and the process and what's going to be expected of me and my body and what all is going to come out of me. And I was so taken aback.
Yeah.
And then when I went into labor, I labored in my hips, which like Googling what's happening to your body while it's happening is difficult. And I had no idea that was even a thing. And so I felt a little bit like I've gone through this and now I know, and I'm really interested to know more. So I'm going to educate myself, and then I'd love to share that knowledge with other people. I also had a really tough time getting started with breastfeeding. I learned about tongue ties and lip ties. and
the
all of the
struggle.
fun stuff that goes along with that.
You guys want to try something really fun?
Yeah. Mushrooms?
Try. I watched this. No. Open your mouth as wide as you can.
No, I'm scared.
No.
And watch. You'll open your mouth as wide as you can. Stick your tongue out and then try to touch the roof of your mouth. Watch me.
Okay, I was gonna wait for Colin to do it before I make an ass of myself.
If you, yeah. Thankfully, no one's watching this, so the memes aren't going to be a problem. But if your jaw lifts up again, in order for you to touch your tongue,
yeah.
I saw this on TikTok, so it's true. But if your tongue, if the bottom jaw lifts up, it means you have a tongue tie.
Whoa!
Well, you can actually see when I had mine released when I was 8.
Right there.
You can see where can I look? You see that?
It's really grainy for us. I can't see.
Okay.
The world will see it when they get to our YouTube page.
It'll be
it's just we can't see it, but the recording's fine, so it'll be seen.
Okay.
We'll review it later.
Yeah, we'll all look at each other's tongue flaps.
Oh my god, it's so funny. But anyways,
you can actually get that part pierced. I don't know what that piercing called though.
Like why though?
Like this bit too, probably.
Probably. Because I don't know, people who are gonna get piercings in weird places are gonna get piercings in weird places, you know?
I mean, the first piercing must have been super weird, but we don't care about that.
Right? Yeah.
You know what I mean? Someone shot their ear and they're like, what are you doing? I don't know.
Oh, it looks cool.
Yeah.
Just fucking blood. It's swollen. Like,
I'm just gonna jam a piece of gold in there now. Woo! Yeah.
What was that movie? I don't know, was it Rat Race or something like that, where the guy pierced his own tongue and it got infected and he couldn't really talk?
Yes. Was that Seth?
So it was Seth Green was in it.
Seth Green.
But it was his friend.
Okay.
That had the tongue piercing. It was so funny.
Oh man.
Anyway.
I forgot about that movie completely till just now.
I'm not well versed in movies.
Fabuloso.
Nah, it's fine. It wasn't a great movie anyway.
Well, you mentioned Seth
one of those
Green, so I think I'll
2000s.
pass.
It was one of those ones where they tried to sell a shitty story with a smash cast, you know what I mean? There wasn't any character that wasn't a big name.
At the time, yeah, that's true.
Mm-hmm.
True. And where are those people now? Nowhere.
Yeah, they got more money than me.
When you decided you wanted to be a doula, was how exciting your experience was to be in that delivery room or space area, wherever you are, that you want to be in there and experience that over and over and over again.
Well, I very naively assumed that being there in the room with other birthing women, that I would get to relive that experience again for myself, but it's very different from the other side. I mean, it's a powerfully moving experience. But yeah, very different doing things from the other side, being there as a support. Maybe does everyone know what a doula is? Should I like say what a doula is?
Oh, definitely. No, yeah, explain. I'm not sure.
I'm pretty sure the doula oblongata is just a little part in your brain.
No.
That is pretty responsible for being angry, which is related to what we're talking about.
Right. So a doula is somebody that is, they're not a midwife, they're not a doctor, we don't do anything medical. We're basically a support for a birthing woman. I'm not saying person, a birthing woman. And that support can look very different for a lot of people. For some people, like I've supported somebody having a cesarean birth. And that really just looked like keeping mom and dad calm and explaining, little bits of information along the way if they were starting to get nervous about the process, but really just being there as kind of like a middleman between the doctor and them, and just really being a source of compassion. So for cesarean birth as a doula, and it's usually fairly straightforward. I don't want to say that it always is, because anything can happen, but in my very few that I attended, they were more straightforward. And then it was more postpartum care. Live births are fun. Live birth, well, you know what I mean, like natural birth, are really fun because it's really unexpected. And you can have all the plans in the world that you want, and rarely is it going to go that way. So you kind of go through all of the ups and downs and the emotions with the family, but you're there as kind of a constant and a support, and advocating for them and explaining, like they might be offered, say, Pitocin, and they don't know what that is. And then I would explain what that is and what the benefits, the pros and cons of receiving that might be. And just a hand holder, I guess, in a way. Helping with breathing while they're laboring, and the encouragement. Like, I remember the midwives that I had when Holden was being born were so fantastic because they were opposite from each other. One was swearing at me and screaming that I could do it, like she was like, "You can fucking do this, Ashley." And then the other one was just so calm, like, "You're doing so well," and she's brushing my hair, and it was like, I needed that, like,
so proud
both sides of that energy to get through it. And so, it's just really paying attention to the birthing family and what kind of support they need. It's always going to be very individual, but at the end of the day, a doula is providing support for the family, not medical support, just advocating and emotional support. Yeah.
I think of I don't want to say it's not that well known. I think it's becoming a more well known practice. And I can imagine, in a situation like, say your partner or husband is in the military and they're posted away for 6 months and they can't physically be there at the delivery, a doula would be a fabulous person to have alongside to be that support, to be that person who's kind of like perhaps followed you a little bit through the pregnancy, and then you have that familiarity, and then they're there for you.
Absolutely.
To hold your hand, because sometimes you need that person.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I remember, I don't want to say I remember, one of the conditions when I was doing my surrogacy legal stuff was if I were to become pregnant with twins, I would then have had to have, oh my gosh, I would have needed an OBGYN. I would not have been able to like work with my midwife team because it's considered high risk. And so I put in the clause that if that were the case, I would want the opportunity to hire a doula.
Yeah. Oh, cool. Yeah.
And because I'm sure a lot of women who have like I know there's a word for it, but twins or like multiples in a pregnancy may want that support as well. And like you said, in the postpartum period as well, like I can't imagine having 2 kids at home.
Oh, it's crazy.
And like that person's husband would have their hands full. You as the mom would have your hands full.
Well, the interesting thing that I really,
somebody who's helping support in between.
Yeah. I was going to say, like, one of the things that I find really interesting about work as a doula is that you're not just supporting the birthing mother, you're supporting the whole family. Like, everybody's becoming a family, and fathers need support. Like, fathers need a lot of support too. And I just find there's this culture where men are just tough and they don't really, ask for help or maybe acknowledge that this is affecting and involving them and the degree that it actually is. I mean, everybody's life is being changed when a baby comes. And so support for the father is really important. And also even showing them how to support their partner while they're birthing. Right. I mean, fathers might not know what to do, how to support, where, it could be, well, hold her hand, here's a cloth you can put on her head.
I started putting on gloves and they said, get the fuck out of here.
Skid down.
Yeah, but then even like at home, like postpartum.
But yeah, that's a really good point.
Mm-hmm. No, I was going to say, like, even at home postpartum, like helping dads navigate how to help their spouse, helping them adjust, breastfeeding positions and things like that. You're not taught this. Like, and I really feel like there needs to be more education somehow around what happens not only to a woman's body while they're pregnant, but what to expect afterwards and how to support. I mean, this is a big deal. You're bringing lives into the world and we're doing it like completely, like nobody knows what to do.
Without training, zero training. You're just sent home. You're like, here you go, keep the baby alive. Woohoo. Yeah.
Holden was born and I had never even babysat or held another baby before. And I was just being allowed to go home with this little child, this life. And I don't know how to change his diaper. I don't know. What do I do with it?
Mm-hmm. How do I put him in the car seat? Show me things. Yeah.
Yeah, there's a lot. And
right?
Yeah.
And it's all sort of like thrust on you in this moment where you're extremely vulnerable.
Mm-hmm.
Like the whole family's extremely vulnerable in that moment, right? So yeah. It's pretty wild. It's up to you to do your own research, more or less, and is everybody doing that?
You get to be as involved as you want to be.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Truly.
Mm-hmm.
Oh gosh, there were so many things. There were a couple subjects that we wanted to bring up that we were like, this would be fabulous to talk with Ashley about.
Okay.
I also meant to bring my office trivia book, but we can have you on again and talk about that.
Okay, I love The Office, but I'm not good with trivia.
Office trivia. Yeah, me either. But
I'm amazing
I thought it'd be
at both
fun.
of those things. So
yeah. Colin would be
feeling pretty good.
So there was somebody had commented on our last episode, the topic of homeschool versus public school, and this is a topic that you and I have talked about many times. And you kind of alluded to having some eye-opening experiences in the pandemic.
Yeah, I'm not a teacher. I can teach yoga, but I can't teach kids.
Me neither.
Oh man.
Oh gosh,
hats off to teachers. That's hard.
Yeah,
that's really hard.
20 plus students.
Ugh.
Yeah. What?
Yeah, and I can't hit them
all day.
Yeah,
no, I know. I mean, that was what I was just going to say too. I'd be a teacher if I could hit them.
Yeah, put them in cages. Yeah, no, I don't know. In a perfect world, I would have.
So in the pandemic, Holden started school, correct?
No. He was supposed to. So the fucking pandemic ruined everything, including my big plan.
Okay.
And my big plan was to have Meadow when Holden went to kindergarten. And then I'd be able to relive that magical time that I'd had with Holden with Meadow. But then friggin' COVID came and there was no school for Holden. And now I had a 4-year-old and a newborn at home. And the world shut down and it was really, really scary. Like, I did not like that. But anyways,
especially with all the unknowns initially.
Yeah. And with the unknowns and the like illness with babies, it just made me really unsettled. But before all of that happened, I'd really been interested in like Waldorf school and forest school and all of those things that I can't afford. But I really like the idea. And I did find in where we were living, they had this farm school that was just like 4 hours like 2 days a week, 4 hours. And so Holden would go there when he was 3 and pick eggs from chickens and, do little stuff around the farm. And it was the greatest time for him. They do crafts and get all dirty and muck out stalls and stuff like that. And I just love this idea of educating through physical tasks, and I know myself being a hands-on learner, I will often pick up a concept the first time if I can do it. But if somebody's just telling it to me, I'm not hearing you. Like, I don't care. I need to do it. I need to be involved. And so I just love that idea of educating, in nature, first of all, and then incorporating, I don't know, all the elements, like physicality into it. And so I thought in my mind's eye and daydreaming on how I would raise my kids and what their education would look like, I thought I would be this great stay-at-home mom, and we would homeschool, and we would go to museums all of the time, and I'd get this great garden going, and I would teach them about nutrition and blah, blah, blah. Reality is not that. Reality is squirrels ate my garden.
It's yeah.
Yes, I don't know what I'm doing.
Yeah, that's valid. That's very valid.
And I'm not patient. And Holden's got ADHD and some other stuff going on. And so you've got these two like squirrels trying to teach the other thing a thing, and it's just not working. So
yeah, I don't want to say I can relate, but I feel like that's all very valid. Yeah.
Well, I think that I was really trying hard, and I have all these curriculum books everywhere. And the turning point for me is when I lost my temper. And I don't ever want to lose my temper like that, especially in an environment where I'm trying to encourage learning. Because it is shut down and make themselves like, I didn't want him to feel as though he was lacking or wasn't capable based on my reaction out of my frustration. It's all to do with me, nothing to do with him. And I was like, wow, if somebody has the ability to remain calm and composed with, 20 plus kids not getting a simple concept, and I can't do it with one kid, I'm not a teacher in that sense.
I don't know how they do it.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, and I honestly, I don't know how they do it, because they do have the patience, and they somehow like mold their brains into these people who are like able to receive knowledge. It's wild to see how much kids learn, how quickly they learn, and how little your kids actually listen to you as the parent.
Yeah.
When you're trying to teach them stuff. What's up with that?
I think it's just because you're the parent. Like, teachers work because they have to listen to an adult who they can't tell to fuck off. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's their first exposure to society and rules and behavior.
And like I don't want to say authoritarian.
Yeah.
But positions of authority or whatever.
Yeah.
Hierarchies
who's in charge
and rules and all this kind of stuff. So yeah, it makes sense that teachers get away with it, but oh my god, I would zero desire
when they like fight in their union contracts to like make more money, and the percentage is like so nominal. Yeah, the percentage is always so nominal. They're like asking for like a couple percent, and like they'll get, I don't say rejected, but it becomes an arbitration situation, blah blah blah. Like I remember the early childhood educators 2 years ago in Ontario went on
I think
strike.
it's 2 years.
Yeah, and I was like, it was a 4% over the course of the contract, so it was like over 3 years or something like that. It worked out to be a couple $1,000s a year added to their salary after, like, by the end of the contract to be fulfilled, and it was like, are you insane? Like, have you been in a kindergarten
Like,
classroom?
can we just provide these
give them
people
a
with
couple extra
incentive?
grand.
You know, like, do it.
Yeah. Yes.
Well, the
Oh my
cost
God.
of all of this kind of stuff is the current
Yeah.
people we have running the governments. You know what I mean?
Yes. Fair. Yeah. That
We'll
does
just get out of it what
take
we put
reflection.
into it. You don't want to pay the right people to do the job the right way, you're gonna get
Yeah.
idiots.
Yeah.
This is
So when Holden was able to like begin attending school in person, because I remember you had to more or less school him from home during the pandemic. Like, what kind of benefits do you think that he personally like experienced?
Yeah, the socializing is the main one. I mean, he was he's a shy kid, which is naturally. And so having missed kindergarten entirely really didn't do him any, like, it didn't help the shyness at all. And so it was a big adjustment going into grade 1 and to this big, this big building. There's kids everywhere. There's noise everywhere. I mean, this is so overwhelming for a kid. Whether they've done it before or not, that's overwhelming. Yeah. And he just happens to be particularly sensitive to these types of stimuli. And so it was a big deal, but he very quickly made a group of friends, and that helped bring some of his nerves down. And give him confidence to participate and, involve himself in something that maybe he didn't know how to do before, or raise his hand to answer a question he's not entirely sure the answer of. And I think those are all skills you develop being exposed to peers. Like, if you're just sitting at home, nobody's, like, I can't give him the kind of confidence that somebody his age can, like Spider-Man confidence. I can't.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah. So I just think,
or like just like a level with him on that same, like with those same interests, like having the commonality of being the same age and into the same stuff. Like, you can definitely like support what he likes, but are you into Spider-Man as much as he is? Probably not.
No.
And also, even the interactions, you're not learning how to, argue properly or have a disagreement or sharing, how to dissolve conflicts that aren't that important. But when it comes to doing that with mom or dad, the answer is whatever they want it to be. You know what I mean?
Well, I can kind of relate a little bit. Like,
you'll have the opportunity to.
Yeah. Like, growing up, I was an only child. And so interacting with my parents is very different from interacting with kids at school. And the influence was different and the exposure was different. Like, if I'd had siblings, like especially older siblings, I would have known what cool music to listen to, or like what cool clothes to wear. But that was, I had to learn that through just observation. Nobody, and so it's important to be.
That was not available to you, as they say.
Oh, and we lived in a retirement community. That's another chapter in my book.
Oh, yeah. Growing up in a retirement community. Love it. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm not cut out for homeschooling.
Do you think there were any, we talked a bit about the pros, were there any cons in him going to school, like from his perspective? I'm sure from your perspective it was like, I don't get to see him every day, or at least that would be my feelings. But do you think there were cons with him going?
There were some behavioral things for sure. Like,
yeah,
a different level of aggression. Like, he's not an aggressive kid at all, but suddenly he was, using language I'd never heard before, kind of presenting this kind of tough guy exterior, which is a front. I mean,
I can't picture it.
I know,
like
he's not, that's not who he is.
Yeah.
So these kinds of things, I was like, what is this?
Yeah, where's my little Holden?
I know. So yeah, I feel like as beneficial as having the social interactions with his peers, there were also some negative side effects to that. But I feel like that's just part of discovering who you are anyways, like, right.
Fair. Yeah.
You're
gonna try on some different things in life, right?
I mean, he's only in grade 3 now, so I mean, this is just the beginning of his 3rd year doing this, and he's had really great teachers so far.
Yeah.
So yeah, for us, it's been a fairly positive experience. I mean, it's other kids' parents, really, is what it comes down to. But it's other kids on the schoolyard. Like, he'd never experienced bullying before, or things like that, and we had some issues around that with him. An experience where somebody kicked him in the face last year, and the school actually didn't even inform me. And so I made a fun appearance in the office.
Okay, that's yeah, that's like a major infraction.
Yeah, it was kind of
from my understanding.
So after I visited with the office and interrupted all meetings that were going on, I said, this is basically what's going to happen. Since I can't trust you're going to communicate with me and keep my kids safe, which is your sole job because I'm not there, then I need to have, some kind of line drawn in this playground where this kid, and I know who he is on one side and mine's on the other. Because you tell me there's supervisors, but there's 200 and some kids out on the yard, and there's only 3 of you out there. So here's what we're going to do.
And they're underpaid.
The ratio seems a bit skewed. Yeah.
So anyways, it was towards the end of the school year, and he was fine. Yeah.
I think a lot of people look to homeschooling because they disagree with curriculum stuff.
Oh,
interesting.
Yeah. Are we going to go there? I disagree.
I don't know. Is that a?
Oh, we can go there. It's just I might ruffle some feathers.
Well, I guess we could just we don't want to get too into it, but I was just wondering, would you, if you had the capability, is the curriculum or the way we teach poor enough that you'd want to do it on your own? Because I feel like I'd rather homeschool kids. I just have zero capacity to do it.
Well, I will take it upon myself to teach Holden how the birds and the bees work. As far as math is concerned, I was trying to help him with grade 3 math, and I didn't know what the hell was going on. I'm not good with numbers anyways, but this should be straightforward. I mean, it's grade 3 math. Come on. But it's this new math, this new way of breaking down an equation. And I couldn't even explain it to you. It took 8 steps to get to something that it should have just been straightforward. I don't know. Anyways, it confusing, and it was even confusing for Tony, who's really good at math. So
yeah, I feel like I think they call it core math. I'm gonna look this up real quick. Core math is the new way of doing it, and it has confused so many of us because we learned math in a very straightforward. I don't know what the style of math we were learning before, but it was
basically had to memorize everything.
Couple steps.
We were taught to read based on memorizing, right? Not sounding thing. This makes this sound, just know that. Now you put that sound together, know that, that's that word. But that's being taught very differently now, which is good. And then, and I remember, for me anyways, I may have just relied on memorizing things in patterns just because of the way my brain works. But I remember quite literally just reciting formulas to myself to commit them to memory, having no idea how they actually worked.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, but it was a pattern.
Yeah, it was a pattern, and I could repeat the pattern. I don't know why or how, but
Yeah.
sometimes I got there. Most of the time I didn't. Sometimes I did.
This is it.
Yeah.
We got there. But yeah, it's I won't even try and explain core math because like you, Ashley, math is not my forte. But it like basically breaks it down into more steps to get to the answer, I believe. And so you are showing your work more, I think, is the ultimate intention, so that if you go wrong, you can see where you went wrong.
I just find in this case more is not less. It's more confusing.
More numbers is more overwhelming for somebody who's not into the numbers in the first place.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Like I get anxiety giving out my phone number. It's 10 digits. It's a lot.
You're like, wait, is that the correct order? Oh my God. Yeah. Oh gosh, I wanted to get back to what brought us to here in the first place, but now I don't even remember what that was. The homeschooling, public, pros, cons. Yeah, I'm not sure. I've lost it. But yeah, so grade 3.
Mm-hmm.
He's been in school for 2 full years. He's in his 3rd year. What do you think the next couple years look like now that you're in a different province? Spoiler alert, Ashley now lives in Nova Scotia.
Woo, East Coast, the best. His school is awesome. Like, honestly, okay, get this. This is how small this town is. His school goes from pre-primary, which is what they call kindergarten out here, all the way to grade 12 in one school.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know if this happens here, but I finished elementary school in California, and then I had to go to middle school for 2 years, and then high school.
Yeah.
Is middle school in Canada too?
Yeah,
I'm Canadian. I don't want people to think that I'm not.
But
no, I did high school in the States.
I'm not American.
I'm not American. And they have this thing called middle school. And so anyways, now we're here and he just goes to one school forever, which I kind of love. I mean, changing schools is a huge transition when you're young. You know, and you're not guaranteed that everyone's, all your friends are going to come with you. It can
affect people.
Yeah. And it's really cute because Meadow's in pre-primary. And so she calls it the cage. She's in this like little area that's separate from the rest of the school. And one of the
recess, fenced off.
It literally is. Once a day at recess, Holden will come and, you know, stick his hand through the cage and say hi to her. And so they both love that. But I don't know, like, what happens out here. Maybe it's like that there's a smaller population, there's more funding. I don't know. But his school is so great. Every class has an EA. Even Meadow has an EA.
Whoa.
And there's another teacher that comes in for 45 minutes a couple of times a week to work with kids doing like reading and math a little bit more. He has a music teacher. He's joined track and field.
Cool.
Like, this is all just at his school. It's so cool. And there's going to be a talent show, and he wants to. He makes a really wicked race car sound. Like, it sounds so real. And so this is what he wants to do at the talent show, is make race car sounds.
Yes.
I don't know if I should encourage this.
When you said race car.
Yes.
I heard race card. I was like, what the fuck?
Oh,
kind
no.
Of talent is
oh, dear.
Card? Yeah. In grade 3.
Bold choice.
Bold choice.
No.
Oh, man. Unreal.
Yeah, so I'm just really excited for his new school.
I would encourage that for sure.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, no, I just feel like because I think that we have some challenges going forward, learning wise. But with all of the supports there, like I just feel so confident that this is the best environment for him. Yeah.
He won't get, like, he's not going to slip through the cracks, so to speak.
No. There's a lot of attention given. And the classes are a little bit smaller, which is nice too. So yeah. Nobody else move here though. Unless you guys do.
Yeah, don't
overpopulate my province. I want to keep the class size small.
Yeah, I feel like they say this about, I don't know which state it is, but it's like northwest, and they talk about how beautiful it is, and like how you know, there's a lot of supports for like the social aspects of life and whatnot. They're like, but don't tell anyone because we don't want more people moving here and fucking it up. So I get the feeling you're in the same boat. Yeah,
totally.
Colin, was there anything else that you wanted to add? I feel like that's all I got this week.
Yeah, no, I was good. I learned a lot about doulas. I learned I learned about oil paint.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know.
Fathers also need support.
Yeah, I didn't want to jump on that one. It just felt too easy. You know what I mean? Like,
too easy.
Low hanging fruit. But yeah, no, I really enjoyed the conversation. I really feel like this was kind of just tip of the iceberg. You know, I don't think our guests are generally people we come to exploit just for the one chat. You know what I mean? I feel like every time they're here, we kind of leave wanting to speak more, which I think is a good thing. So maybe one day if her audition goes better, we'll have her on sooner, and we can carry on the conversation.
Maybe we can have both Ashley and Tony on.
Oh, that'd be fun.
An absolute riot. That'd be a fucking riot.
We'll have to have many. Let's do a drinky episode.
For those who haven't listened, that could be really interesting.
Bad. Yeah, let's have a drunk episode with my recovered husband. Okay. Maybe we should reevaluate that.
Reevaluate this one. He'll just be sitting there like, cool guys, very cool.
I'm a supportive wife.
In a fun way.
Yeah, you're like, I'll drink this drink for you. Don't worry. It's gonna
I feel like a little, I feel like there's actually a little bit of a conversation to be had around, probably mostly around alcohol since other drugs are different, but like he is able to drink and not be a drunk. Do you know what I mean? Like, doesn't do drugs anymore, but he can have a couple of pints and that's fine. That's totally fine. You can, not everyone can do that. Yeah. I'm not a drug counselor by any means.
I heard the term recently called California sober.
Oh, yes.
And it refers to people who only smoke weed. Made me laugh. Yeah.
I really like that term. Having lived in California, it's so appropriate.
Yeah.
I googled California sober, and the first hit is Canada.ca. Get help with substance use.
I love it.
Stupid government.
What are they trying to tell us? Oh dear.
That's really funny.
Get out of my fucking life.
Okay, so next time we have you on, we will have so many more things to talk about. I don't want to say I'm sure, I know. But yeah, thank you for coming on and chatting.
Oh, thank you guys.
We'll get more out of your history because you got a really interesting story, and I think people will enjoy that as well.
Yeah,
if you're willing to share,
I'm very willing to talk about stuff. I hope that I was coherent.
Thank you.
I can ramble.
Don't worry, you are not near whatever you think it is in your head. You did way better than you think. So.
Yeah, the narrator in your head can go to sleep. And
I really hope so, because I'm going to be filled with anxiety and
thank
not
you so much
sleep.
for.
No, you're
fine. You're absolutely fine. Honestly, don't, because it's not. I mean, it already went out live, so damage is done. But
yeah,
we also won't publish it until the end of the week, so you got time.
Till Friday. Yeah, you've got time.
We won't do anything about it, but we'll make it sound like we can try.
Awesome. Well, this was fun, guys.
This was wonderful. Yeah,
so much fun.
Yeah, thank you.
I enjoyed it. Thank you so much for joining us.
And we will see you all next time. Toodles.
Bye, guys.